Welcome to Everyday Amazing. I'm your host, Guy Alton. And, you know, I've been told that I am the most fashionable late night talk show host in Sacramento. I don't know if that's true or not, but I will tell you this. Our next guests know all about fashion. If you don't believe me, let's take a look at this video. I am proud to say that I am going to have Jax Buttle and Duane with DMR Productions, who create Sac Fashion Week, here with me tonight. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a very fashionable episode. You might learn a thing or two about modeling. So don't go anywhere. I will be right back after these messages.
Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton.
Hi guys, it's Brigitte the model here and you're watching Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton.
Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Duane and Jax Buttle. Thank you for coming. First of all, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Good. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and speak with me. I'm a big fan of Sac Fashion Week, and I understand you guys have been doing this for 20 years, correct?
Give or take.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a minute. Right. It doesn't feel like it sometimes, but yeah.
Okay. So I just kind of want to jump in. And this question we'll answer one at a time. When did you first fall in love with fashion? We'll start with you, Jax.
I fell in love with fashion when I was a little kid. I remember making Barbie dresses out of Starbucks wrappers and Skittles wrappers and decorating my trolls' hairs with glitz and glitter. And as I got older, life happens, things lead you a different way, but I ended up getting involved as an intern. And because of my stature and my involvement at the time, I started modeling and then fell more in love with it. But I realized quickly that I wanted to be behind the camera instead of in front. Mm-hmm. As my dad is a director, and I've always been interested in the production side of things. And that's when I got to know him better, this amazing man right here, and got more involved with Fashion Week, and it just soared from there.
Okay, I like that. Same question for you, Duane. When did you first fall in love with fashion?
It's not like a love affair with fashion. I just kind of fell into it.
Okay.
I started as like a child model back in the day. And then when I moved to Sacramento, there wasn't a fashion scene happening. Because I was modeling back in the day too, doing some acting, modeling. And so when I moved out here, I was always driving back to San Francisco. So I had to find something to make it home. So I connected with all the local models and designers, and we kind of created our own show.
So talk to me about what that was like when you guys were first creating the show and what it took to get everybody together. So did you start out with just local photographers? How did you?
Yeah, it was like a mixer. So we just got together and did small photo shoots because we were all doing other shows, but they were in clubs and they weren't really taking advantage of all the venues around here, right?
Right.
And so we figured we can do it ourselves. We can put something together and make it happen. So that's how it came to be.
Yeah, a lot of collaborations and local affiliations, which is awesome.
Now, as far as the actual putting the show together and getting designers to come on board, was that challenging, or were they how was that received? Were they super welcoming because they were doing other shows, and to see that Sacramento, you guys were putting together your own show where they didn't have to travel anywhere else, was it a warm welcome, or was it a little bit challenging in the beginning?
Well, like I said, when I first moved out here, we were connected with local designers, and they were doing shows in all these other places. And at the time, I was taking television production because I was trying to get into TV production.
Okay.
I actually got a degree in TV production. That's what I went to school for. And my whole thing was I wanted to film the behind the scenes and do all that stuff, right? So we were already connected with all these local designers. So our first show, we had like 20 designers in it.
Wow.
Yeah, there was all local designers that we put the show together ourselves.
That's actually, that sounds like a big show.
And as the years grew, like we kind of,
Tapered
people
off.
moved away,
Right.
kind of the numbers kind of lowered down. So we able to like 5 to 6 at the most. It's like 12 per night. Yeah.
Which honestly, like realizing through years of experiences, 20 is a lot to put together, and especially in the size of the city kind of thing. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot that goes into behind the scenes. So 5, 6, or even 2, 10, or 12 is much more reasonable for how long people want to sit there and watch the production.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we didn't come out and do like a whole week. Our first show wasn't a week. It was like a 2-day event. It was like a first show and then the after party. So we were kind of ambitious. We called it Fashion Week. It was only like 2 days. But as the years go, we kind of added days to it.
But it was also more of an establishment of a brand rather than it was saying it's a week of something, because Sac Fashion Week is the production that we do during the time that other fashion weeks are running and whatnot.
Okay. So, like clearly you're talking about like how much you have grown. I got it. Something that stands out to me, and just I'm pretty sure the audience wants to know, is what kept you coming back year after year and putting it together? Like obviously, you started out as a model and you studied TV production, but this is, like you said, this is a lot of work. So why? I was almost say like why do you keep doing it? Like obviously you love Sacramento, but like I want to know from your own words, like why you keep putting together Sac Fashion Week.
Well, if I can answer first, I asked myself that many a long nights after production.
Every year it's my last year.
Right, and he said that so many times, and I, trust me, I've been right alongside of that, and sometimes I just want to, but we get through it because we love it. And honestly, the feeling of elation after a production goes through seamlessly, or even with some little nicks here and there, it just feels so nice, and it validates why we're doing this, and that love that we have for it at the brass tacks of it is what it comes down to. At least for me, you can definitely.
Yeah, no. In the
elaborate.
beginning, it was just to connect with like minds. We wanted to do something, and we were always. It was like a weekend thing. We always got together, did a photo shoot,
After
and it
party.
was all same group of models, same group of designers. So that's what we were doing, and that's how it started because it was fun, and I just wanted to do something. But as the years grew, it started to be more of a business because I was forking most of the bill if we didn't have enough sponsors to cover, and we were always kind of relying on ticket sales. So. And every year I keep saying, this is my last year, it's so much work. But after, I take a month off to recoup, and I kind of miss it, the rush of, putting everything together. And that's kind of why I do it too.
No, I get it. Because that, like I said, that's a lot of work. And like I said, for you guys to keep doing this year after year, and like I said, this is the 20th anniversary, clearly this is something that you're passionate about, whether you realize it or not, and whether you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna quit, but you haven't, because deep down.
Well, plus I always feel like there's something I haven't done yet. Like I said, I got a degree in television production, and I still wanna. That's still in the back of my mind. I kind of want to do something with that, and I've been filming behind the scenes stuff and doing designer interviews. So there is something I still want to do, and I don't feel I've completed everything yet. So that's the other reason why I keep doing what I'm doing, because I'm not completely done with what I need to accomplish.
I don't think I'll ever be personally.
So where would you like to see, well, first off, we have a show coming up this week. So tell me a little bit about what we can expect to see this year, because I understand it's going to be at the Crocker this year.
Yeah, this year is going to be at the Crocker. I mean, every year I try to kind of highlight different venues, and I've pretty much done all the venues, except I haven't done the Crocker yet. Last year I did the Railroad Museum, and then we did Dorco Plaza before they opened. Like we
Yeah.
got in there.
That was one of the best.
Yeah, it was still under construction. I can't
wow.
believe they let us do a show in there, but they let us do a show in there.
And the rail
We've done the
yards.
rail yards,
Yeah.
so we've done pretty much every venue, and I feel like I do still want to go back to Railroad Museum and do another show there, but I want to kind of stay at the Crocker for another 2 years maybe.
And that was one last year, right?
Yes.
Last year was at the
Matter of fact,
Railroad.
I think we have some photos of the actual show last year, so we're actually gonna take a look at that, and then maybe you can like speak to it. So first, tell me a little bit about this.
Okay, so that was one of Yenny is one of our like in-house designers, and she has a studio off of Old Sacramento.
It's called
Okay.
Atrium, Yenny Zhao.
Yeah, so she put this together. It has some. She's included some of our sponsor branding in the piece that she said, and then she cut up some of our T-shirts and put it into a dress.
And some of the magazine clippings and stuff.
Yeah, she's really creative.
She likes to
with
use
what she
different
does. Yeah.
mediums and like create them into fashion avant-garde pieces. I've actually walked for Yenny once and had a paper flower hat that was like 10 pounds on
Oh,
top
wow.
of my head. But she's just super creative like that, and so she made us our own personalized kind of little art exhibit that
And I have her doing something as they walk in
For the
to venue
Crocker.
for the Crocker.
Really? So okay, so tell me about this picture. Who was?
Okay, so that was the Railroad Museum. So
was
they
last
took
year.
out one of the trains,
Really?
and we had the runway in the center, and then it went around another train. So we had one of the center trains taken out, and then they went through that, and then they walked around another train. So it was all
Wow.
on the floor.
And you got them to do all of that. You know, this was your vision of how you wanted
Yeah.
to look. Wow.
So he usually does the vision, and I do the behind the scenes based on his vision, which is why we get along and what, our two parts. And the funny thing about that show is it was so crazy because it was like 4 runways basically moving, zigzagging through this huge venue. And the one train in the middle I was standing behind where nobody could see me that's in the audience, but like moving the models out and flowing them through based on what he's telling me in a little earpiece from the front, watching it with the DJ. And it's just these little parts moving together to make this huge production. And, this is hours and weeks and, sometimes even months of planning and execution just for a couple hours that people see the beauty from the front that we don't even get to experience most of the time because we're behind the scenes doing it. And it's pretty magical, I think. And that's one of the things that keeps me going. Even when I get frustrated, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it, and then to hear it from your perspective and your view, like you said, you don't even get to see it.
Right.
The only thing that you can see is the reaction from the audience and people attending.
Right.
Right. And so for that to, inspire you to do it year after year, again, like I said, I think it's your passion. I also think you're, doing what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, we have one last picture. Just tell me a little bit about this one right here.
Okay, that was at the rail yards.
Rail yards, okay.
So if you've never been to the rail yards, it's this empty, I think it used to be a train station.
Yeah.
So it's a huge venue.
It's historical, and we're one of only 2 or things that we're able to do events there. I think the Humane Society was the other one.
Yeah, I don't know how, I think it was a 70-foot runway.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was a
it was
long
huge,
runway.
and it was
'Cause it was a huge
freezing.
venue. And it was cold because there's broken windows and everything. Yeah. But it was a nice venue to do a show in because it was huge.
And for that year, we were fortunate enough to have, they were rookies at the time, but Ben McLemore and Willie Cauley-Stein, they came and they walked for one of our designers, Prince Singh, Cooks Singh, who's now in Vegas. But people that we've collaborated with, we're really fortunate for some of these amazing memories. And that was a really cool show. It was just freezing. And that particular picture, I know because I was also in one of those bathing suits. They were freezing. There was one heater behind the scenes and people were huddling around. We just didn't know. It's not that, we take really good care of our models. We just didn't know what to expect, and it was so cold. And people were getting spray tans in 2 pieces. And that particular picture was that designer, and they were freezing. So these girls work hard, and they go out there with a look on their face as if nothing fazed them, but don't get it twisted. It is a lot of work and it is very taxing sometimes, but.
Okay, so since you brought up models, talk to me a little bit about what goes into, obviously, I've seen that you guys do casting calls, right? You usually do two a year, right? Before you have the show.
Yeah.
So what do you look for? What if someone's out there watching this? What would it take for them to maybe be a part of Sac Fashion Week?
Well, my vision is I'm trying to be like a New York show.
Okay.
So that's what I'm aiming for. They have specific model heights and all that, but we are Sacramento, and I have to, work with what I've got.
Mm-hmm.
So even though there's requirements there, I encourage everybody to come out.
Okay.
Because designers have their own, what they want and what the look is for what they're trying to present.
Right.
And if you've been to our shows, you'll see that we have all different heights and sizes. So they just have to be able to walk on the runway. So that's basically what I'm looking for, is I need for them to be good walkers.
And on that note, to piggyback off that, we do typically more than once, but especially during Fashion Week time, we do offer model boot camps and personalized consultation. And we've went out and spoke at different various college campuses to try and promote and teach young models what to strive for and what to work towards and what they need to do to equip them with the arsenal that they need. And then if they want to move further, the model boot camps really tell them what the industry expects when they show up to a show. Everything from what you should wear, what color heels you should bring, how you should compose yourself. Like, these things are important because it's a very small community, it's a small industry in the sense of people talk, and you want to present yourself as a brand. And that's something that not everybody knows. And it's important to us to also offer that, not just the shows for entertainment value, but also to equip these models so that we can essentially build the pool that we have to choose from, which is a little selfish, but also to help them out. And to grow this art scene in Sacramento, which is continuing to thrive and grow, and it's more amazing every day, and it makes us really proud to be part of it.
Hey, it's more amazing every day. That's why you're
Every
here.
day
Right?
amazing.
And really, if you think about it, like fashion shows, runway shows are for models to get their exposure and get some experience. Not many shows pay to, and that's something that they don't tell you when you go to New York or whatever. Because when the agency flies you to like all these shows in Paris, whatever, they don't pay for the shows, and the model needs to pay back the travel expenses and all the lodging that the agency sent them to those shows for. They get their contracts, so paid jobs when they come back, because all the experience they got from those shows, either in a magazine, whatever, that's how they get paid jobs when they come back here.
Got it. Okay, that's.
But yeah, they have to. The agency fronts their bill for any flights or whatever, but they have to kind of start working to pay that back.
Okay.
And even with like photo shoots, TFP, trade for print, oftentimes people will trade their work to get recognition or to get published somewhere or to get these photos back from these professional photographers that they work with. So even though they're not necessarily getting a paycheck sometimes, trade for print is really important in that industry. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. We're going to continue with that, but we're going to take a quick break right after these messages.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.
Hi, I'm Sky Alton, host of Everyday Amazing with Sky Alton. And tonight's episode was sponsored by thegreengiantdelivery.com. Log on for all your cannabis needs. That's thegreengiantdelivery.com.
Everyday amazing with Sky Alton.
Welcome back to Everyday Amazing. I am still here with DMR Productions, which is Duane Ram and Jax Buttle. Before we went to break, we were talking about, you were breaking down how the industry actually works and how models actually get paid, right? And I like that you did that, because I think a lot of people out there don't actually know how the industry works, right? Like, you hear people talking about, oh, I want to get into modeling, but they don't know the business side of like modeling, right? They just think, I'm pretty, I like taking pictures, how do I get paid? So with that said, you given the insight of how the runway shows work and when you were at the agency, tell me a little bit about, I want to transition a little bit, and this is more going to be about your thoughts to someone who's very experienced. With social media now, and you know, a lot of access to brands just from, you know, directly messaging them through DMs and everything like that, and just the industry kind of changing as far as like not requiring, like you talked about height requirements, right? But obviously on social media, that kind of like, that goes out the window, because now you can like represent a brand just based off a pretty face and like. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts about the changes in the industry, and how has social media like shaped it for you? Like, because you've been in it longer, so what have you seen that's different that you like, and what maybe that you don't like?
Well, there's a lot more opportunities now
Okay.
for models to be in shows, but the real shows, they still have that requirement. They may say all, you know, height, whatever, but for those real shows, they need to be a specific size. So you can't be a short model in those particular
Right.
shows.
Height and
But there
size,
are other shows available they can do. There's more shows now that take different sizes.
Okay.
So it's opened the door to more opportunities for different shows. But to be a high fashion runway model, they still have to be that particular height and size.
Well, and I was gonna like to speak on that. One thing I know you realize, Sky, I'm sure you realize that there's a difference between social media models, the
Sure.
term that floats around, paper models. I'm not discrediting. There's a plenty of a market out there on social media, but it is different than high fashion runway. Also, commercial models don't have so much of a height requirement or size requirement, because there's lifestyle video or videos and pictures that are taken that require models of, like, you know, a family sort, or you know, like different things. But as far as like runway is concerned, any real show or any major city you go to, there is a height and a size requirement, unless it's a special show featuring a different demographic.
Got it. Okay.
But those are totally different things, and social media has definitely opened the doors in a lot of senses. Not always positive, in my opinion, but you know, there is also that, you know, more open to where it doesn't necessarily just pigeonhole everyone into that preconceived notion of what fashion and modeling is.
Yeah, and the only reason, like I said, I asked you to this question because you come from the runway world, and you guys put together shows, and so you have a lot of experience like with the high fashion. And like I said, with social media out now and more people wanting to become models or just calling themselves models, right? Because now, like, you'll see someone and they'll have a few brand deals, and then you ask them what they do, they're like, oh, I'm a model. But they might be like 5'2", right? And so, you know, but that's what they'll tell you, like, oh, I'm a model, you know, and I do all these brands, but you know, they're not runway models, right? And so I you know, you clarifying, you know, that hey, like, they may still be models, but it's just different,
Right.
Like,
They can
may
be super
book them
attractive.
for a show to
Right.
bring in people because
Right.
they have the followers.
Or take pictures of them.
Yeah,
Not
but they're
necessarily.
not necessarily runway models.
Yeah.
They're just there to like bring in people, and they may use them in the show, but they're not real models.
Now, where do you see like high fashion, just the industry going, like with high fashion models? And because like I said, social media has opened up the door and made more shows, but do you still see high fashion as the, you know, the top of the game, or has it kind of like?
Well, I think that's why my shows are successful, because I'm trying to be high fashion. Because if I'm trying to be a regular show, I'll end up down here. So that's why I'm reaching up here. And that's why people want to come to my show, because that's what I'm trying to present, is a high fashion show. And that's what people want to be in, is a high fashion show. They don't want to be in a mall show or, you know, I don't want to,
Well,
maybe I shouldn't say.
and so to,
No, I get it.
to soften that a little, there's some caveats there where, like, I believe Victoria's Secret recently had a show with different various handicapped individuals, and I mean that out of the most respect. I think it was a beautiful show, but it's, you know, I think with the progression of society when it comes to like Me Too and equal opportunities and everything, it's a beautiful thing that there are plus size models in major lines and stuff like that, but they've already gone the, excuse my term, but like anorexic, like, you know, what we think of a size 0 to whatever, you know, 6 feet Amazon or whatever. They've changed that kind of to bring light to the fact that everyone has beauty within. But I think especially for a city like Sacramento, you know, we're still growing and building our name and establishing our brand. And so it's important to have a certain level of standards when it comes to just what fashion Runway has been and is for the sake of the clothing. But that doesn't mean that we don't have other shows that promote other different body types or, you know, things that are out the norm.
Yeah, Fashion Week is just one show that we do.
Right.
That's more aiming to that high fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But we do other smaller shows. We have the White Party, Miami Nights.
Yes.
That have a fashion aspect to it. That have more of the not real models, but
All inclusive in a sense.
Okay.
And all beautiful and powerful, and I think I'm really proud to have those shows also.
It's a more intimate
Yeah.
show.
Well, I gotta say, I love what you guys are doing. Like I said, you've been doing it for 20 years now. At least this is the 20th anniversary, the show that's coming up. And the fact that you guys do multiple shows, you have your high fashion show and then you have your more inclusive show, I think you guys are really giving back to the community. And really that's what my show is essentially about, to highlight people who are doing great things in Sacramento and giving back to the community. And so, you know, I'm very happy that you guys were able to give me some of your time, and I hope everyone goes out and, you know, supports the show, buys tickets. I want you to tell everybody where they can go and buy tickets and, you know, where they can reach you.
Well, you can go to dmrproductions.online. There's a whole events calendar and what we have coming up, and ticket links to the show we have.
You do not want to miss these next two shows at the Crocker. It's that new Crocker venue since it opened, and we're really excited. This is we've done a lot, like he said, we've done a lot of venues. This one, I think, is going to be pretty awesome. You don't want to miss it.
All right, I'm gonna be there. So
You better be.
Yeah.
We're growing together. Every day amazing.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show,
Thank you
giving
for
me your
having
time. And to my viewers out there, be sure to check out the show, support local brands, DMR Productions, buy your tickets, and make sure to like and follow me on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts or shows. And until next time, I'll see you then.